Welcome to the Be a Better Boss podcast, the place where CEOs, business leaders, managers, and entrepreneurs can become a better boss.
Hello and welcome to the Be a Better Boss podcast, where we transform the world through transforming the workplace. Today, we are taking a lesson that I learned as a performance coach in the locker room, and we are shifting it to the boardroom. We are diving into a massively underutilized tool that could be very beneficial to the corporate world, and that's breath work. Yes, something as simple as breathing can be one of the most powerful tools to reduce stress and even increase activation at times, leading to peak performance. And while athletes, philosophers, and even school children are tapping into the power of intentional breathing, it's astonishingly absent from the corporate world. So let's fix that. What is breath work? Well, breath work refers to the practice of consciously controlling your breathing to influence your mental and physical state. It's rooted in ancient traditions like yoga and meditation, and modern science has validated its benefits beyond all belief for reducing stress, improving focus, and enhancing recovery. In sports, it's been a game changer for people like LeBron James, who has used it to manage nerves in high-stakes games. Professional golfer Rory McIlroy credits breathing for helping him maintain focus under pressure. And tennis legend Novak Djokovic has integrated it into his training regime so it can help him stay calm in intense matches. Philosophers have been preaching the power of breath for centuries. They described it as the bridge between the body and the mind. So, we know that stress is one of the biggest productivity killers in the workplace. It leads to burnout, absenteeism, presenteeism, something we've covered on a previous podcast. You name it, stress is a productivity killer. Breath work, however, is a proven way to counteract stress by calming the nervous system. When we are stressed, our sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response, takes over. If we learn to utilize breath work, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system. And instead of fight or flight, it's a little bit more rest and digest response, which reduces heart rate, can lower cortisol levels over periods of time, and promotes a sense of calm. A simple technique for stress reduction that I've used with athletes, it's also been used by Navy SEALs to maintain composure in high stress situations, is box breathing. Very simple. If employers taught their employees to use box breathing, they would be taking on a psychological intervention that helps Navy SEALs and helps elite athletes. Have your employee inhale for 4 seconds. Make sure they're breathing into the diaphragm. Have them hold for 4 seconds. Have them exhale for 4 seconds out of the diaphragm, and then hold again for 4 seconds. Repeat this cycle and your employees will notice a reduction in tension. They'll feel calmer, they'll feel less stressed. Another tactic that I've used with athletes, this is used a lot in yoga, is single nostril breathing. It can boost activation and focus. So while breathing can calm us down, box breathing is an example of this, it can also do the opposite. It can energize and activate us. So single nostril breathing is a technique used in yoga and meditation to stimulate specific areas of the brain. Left nostril breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, calming the body, promoting relaxation, and right nostril breathing activates the sympathetic nervous system, increasing alertness and energy. Use this before an important meeting. If you need to relax, breathe through the left nostril. If you are feeling tired and a bit groggy, maybe it's the after lunch meeting, fire up by using the right nostril. So it's very simple. You just use your thumb and you close the nostril that you don't want to breathe through, and you just focus on that for 1 to 2 minutes. These kind of tactics, as I've mentioned, have been used in sports for long periods of time. Philosophers promote them, and they've finally made their way into the education system. Something that is fascinating is that breathwork is now being taught in schools to help children manage anxiety and improve focus. Schools in the UK and the US have incorporated breathing exercises into classroom routines to help calm students down before tests and help them reset after they've been outside and had breaks, recess, lunchtime. If kids can learn these techniques to improve their mental well-being in education, why aren't businesses tapping into them in the workplace? Imagine the impact on employee productivity, engagement, and happiness if every day or every meeting started with a 60-second breathing exercise. Also imagine if your employees were given this education or given a wearable device that they could use to take a little time out from their desk and go and use one of these tactics based on how they feel with some help and a guide. So, how can leaders do this? How can leaders help implement breathwork into the workplace? Well, we kind of already said one, kick off every meeting with 60 seconds of guided breathing. It helps everyone center themselves, stay calm, creates a focused tone. Encourage breaks for breathwork. Instead of a coffee break or a cigarette break or a phone break, why not take a breath break? Encourage employees to step away and practice box breathing or single nostril breathing, and create an environment that allows them to do this, even attracts them and draws them to do this. Make breathwork part of your onboarding and ongoing professional development. Teach it alongside communication skills, teach it alongside time management. Lead by example. As a leader, take some time, practice some breathwork. There's some great videos on YouTube. There's some information on my website, and experience this for yourself and share your experience with your team. Some of them may then, just as a byproduct of this, adopt this healthy habit for themselves. Philosophy, psychology, and science all agree that the way we breathe affects the way we live, the way we work, and the way we perform. Yet traditional corporate strategies completely ignore this simple, powerful tool. It's time to break free from outdated norms and embrace evidence-based practices that prioritize employee well-being. Breathwork is more than a stress reduction tool. It's a gateway to focus, energy, and happiness. It will help employees be engaged, happy, and more productive in the workplace. Let's transform the workplace by bringing the power of breath from the locker room to the boardroom. If athletes like Rory McIlroy and Novak Djokovic can harness breathwork for success, why can't an accountant, an attorney, a teacher do the same? Why can't business leaders help support their team on their quest to be the best versions of themselves by giving them the tools and the environment to implement breathwork into the workplace? To learn more about building a high-performance, happy team, check out my upcoming book, The Administrative Athlete, Lessons from the Locker Room to the Boardroom. You can download a sample on my website, ianhighfield.com. Thanks so much for listening to this podcast. Sometimes the best way to move forward is to simply take a deep breath. I'm Ian Highfield. Be a better boss.
Thank you for listening to the Be a Better Boss podcast, helping business leaders transform the world through transforming the workplace.